You will of course recognise the scenery around me, very familiar, on a very popular spot which is on Portstewart Promenade. But had you been standing on this exact spot on Sunday evening past, things would have looked and sounded a whole lot different. Richard Stewart, you're a businessman here on the promenade. Indeed, Molly Brown's, your business, is just behind us. What did you make of Sunday evening?
The scenes were shocking. It was a complete and utter disgrace what was going on in the town. No police presence until very late in the evening. From about 10 o'clock the police arrived, but before that the carry-on that was going on in the town was just shocking. It was scary.
What about those who say, look, it's only a bit of fun, it's only a bit of crack? Car cruising has been going on here for many a long year.
Yeah, I mean, I first started working on the promenade in the year 2000, so 20 years ago the car cruisers were always here, but the police were always here as well, controlling the traffic and monitoring behaviour. That doesn't happen anymore. The police presence is not in the town anymore, and the antisocial behaviour has crept up over the years, and Sunday night was just the final straw for traders and residents in the town.
How much business would you say that those sorts of visitors attracted to Portstewart on Sunday evening?
Very little, because they're drinking in the cars themselves, they're shouting abuse out of the car windows, they are throwing their cans and bottles onto the ground, and then has to be cleaned up the next day. Are they stopping and going into the coffee shops? No, I believe they're not. Our Sunday night trade used to be older people, perhaps coming down after church, meeting up with their friends. That doesn't happen anymore because the queue to get into the town is 30-40 minutes, and it just people avoid coming to the town now.
Okay, and another trader and also a resident here in the town is Derek Toms from Tom's Butchers. Derek, what were your views on what happened on Sunday evening? Because you would have had a first-class view.
Yeah, well, you take the cruisers always can come to Portstewart. I done it myself 35 years ago. On a Sunday, there always is traffic in Portstewart. But it's more the antisocial behaviour, the drinking in the cars, the noise, the revving of the engines and the smoke. Before it was all about people coming in a nice car to go up and down. It's more the noise and antisocial behaviour is the biggest problem.
How helpful or how beneficial is this to a family-friendly seaside town like Portstewart?
As I said, but there always was the traffic. It's more any big gathering, sporting event, Northwest 200, anything. There's always one small minority that spoils it for the rest. And that's just what's happening.
And now there is some talk, and we've heard different people saying over the last few weeks, what about pedestrianising the promenade even for a short time? What about stopping traffic on a Sunday? Your thoughts on that?
No, Portstewart's all about cars on a Sunday.
Okay, unless, just before we do leave that thought of pedestrianisation, Richard, if it was to close down, the promenade was to close for maybe 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday, how would you feel?
Certainly worth a try, something we could look at, maybe do a couple of weekends to see what it's like, maybe just in the evening time, or again, I think the thing that's missing is the police presence.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. If I can just cross over the front of Derek Toms here. Joining us now is Local Alliance councillor Chris McCaw. Chris, about 36 hours ago, one of your Facebook posts began with the 3 words, "Enough is enough." Is that a bit of an overreaction from yourself?
I don't like to think that it is, because this has been going on all summer. So we've had the cruise events have been organised. We've been on with the PSNI. The PSNI have said that they're going to put more resources into the area, and then whenever the event happens, nothing actually materialises, or there's a presence but it's not enough.
So you've seen plenty of coverage of what did go on here on Sunday.
Yes, absolutely. There's videos all over social media. And yeah, as like the only way that I could sort of voice my frustration was to say enough is enough.
Well, does this come to the front door? Does this stop at the front door of people like yourself, or is it that body known as Causeway Coast and Glens Council, or is it the police, or who is it?
Well, I would say it's the police. Ultimately, it's the police that are responsible for controlling law and order. And you know, if it was just a bit of fun, if it was just car enthusiasts, that's one thing. But there seems to be an element of actually trying to annoy people and actually trying to cause a disturbance.
Now, I know that there's to be a meeting in council headquarters this week. You're going along to that meeting. Can you convince viewers now that it's not just going to be a talking shop?
Well, we're going to do our absolute best. I mean, we are going to be on with the PSNI again. We're going to see what we can do from a council point of view in terms of closing car parks or maybe looking at pedestrianising the prom. I mean, that's quite a popular idea, but there are some issues around, disability access and parking and where the traffic would go instead. So we need to take a view that doesn't just look actually at Portstewart but Portrush as well, because what we do in one town affects the other. So we have to take a view of both of them.
So consideration of pedestrianisation of some sort is not out of the question?
Absolutely not. We'll look at it. It will depend on the PSNI cooperating as well, because they'd be the ones that would have to enforce it. But it's definitely something that we want to look at.
Chris McCaw, Alliance Councillor for the area, thank you very much indeed. And my thanks also to Derek Toms and to Richard Stewart here on the promenade. Well, very clearly mixed feelings there, and some very strong feelings indeed. And if you've any thoughts or comments, feel free to add those below our video. That council meeting taking place later in this week should be, to say the least, very interesting. But it remains to be seen what, if anything, is going to be done after Sunday night's activities here on the promenade. I'm Denis McNeil, out and about on the Causeway Coast.